In front of you, you're going to see 3 cookies that have been medicated with cannabis-infused coconut oil. This is about the size that you typically would want to make your edible. And somebody who is just starting out, they would do well with half this. So with the edibles, what's important to know is that they are the strongest variation of medicinal cannabis. So you have smoking, which would mean that you're rolling dry herb into a joint and you're lighting that on fire and you're smoking that just like you would a cigarette. Then you have vaporizing, and what a vaporizer does is it lets you put dry herb into it and it's gently decarbing that herb until vapors are released. So that's basically releasing the cannabinoids in the plant material with temperature. And usually the temperature ranges from about 360 degrees up to 400 degrees depending on the vaporizer. Then you would have your edible in terms of potency. And with smoking and vaping, you're getting that plant material, those cannabinoids, into your bloodstream within about 10 minutes. With an edible, that edible has to go through your entire intestinal tract and be processed by your liver before the medicine gets into your bloodstream. So with edibles, it can take approximately 2 hours before you would feel the effect. So you have smoking and vaporizing where you're getting medication into your system in about 10 minutes. An edible takes about 2 hours. Smoking and vapings, the effects of those can last an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how much you've smoked or vaped, whereas an edible can last 6 to 8 hours. So typically, with medicine, what we are trying to do is reach what we would call a sweet spot. And the sweet spot is your tolerance level where you're just starting to feel the medication working in your body. You'll feel happy, euphoric, blissful, not really any negative side effects. You may have some body effects where you might feel like your limbs are heavier than normal. For the most part, it should be a comfortable experience. If you have consumed too much, it will not be a comfortable experience. So for people that are just starting out with edibles, less is more. We would start with half the size of this cookie or even a quarter of the size of this cookie if the person has never used an edible before. We wait 2 hours before we introduce any more edible into the person's system. And that way you're guaranteed that you're going to have a more controlled experience. The problem that happens with edibles is that people often are excited about using an edible for the first time. Maybe they don't know that it takes that length of time to get to the liver to process. So they'll eat an edible, then in an hour's time they'll think, oh, my edible isn't working. They eat another edible. They wait another hour, they're just starting to feel a slight effect, then they eat another edible, and before you know it, you've got 3 doses in your system when you really only needed 1 dose. And if you happen to get too much medication in your system, the remedy for that is to consume vitamin C. So if you're feeling like you've had too much and you don't like that sensation, go eat a piece of fruit. Eat an orange, eat an apple, eat a banana, and you just wait it out. Most people will go to bed or they'll lie down somewhere comfortable for them and they'll just wait the time. And over time, that sensation will go away.